Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. Today I'm out here at Santan Mountain Regional Park with the Lectric XP4 e-bike. We're going to take this thing out on a little bit of a trail ride today and see what it's like to ride this off the beaten path. Now I do have the tires aired down to about 20-25 psi. That way we have ample traction and we can soften up the ride a little bit. But anyway, this should be a fun little adventure today. Now this XP4 does have 20-inch by 3-inch fat tires with a mixed terrain tread, which isn't the same like knobby tread that we saw on the Lectric XP4. It's a little bit toned down, so we'll see how these things do on this trail ride today. Now I don't know how well you can see it over there, but we got a rattlesnake crossing the trail. They did warn me when I came in here to watch out for these things as things warm up. Anyways, that's always a comforting feeling. It is the desert though. Anyways, that's a new fear unlocked. Gotta be careful trying to barrel down these trails today because you got rattlesnakes crossing the road. We're gonna cruise on through here. I took the wrong turn. This is a very rocky trail. I'm gonna go on to something a little more mellow. One thing to keep in mind when riding a bike like this out on rocky trails is that the pedals are very close to the ground. You know, you don't have a lot of distance there. So you wanna make sure that you keep your feet in a level position as much as possible. Anyways, after seeing that rattlesnake, I am definitely hyper aware of my surroundings. You know, as long as I've been in here, in Arizona, living here since like 2010, I really haven't had any kind of encounters with rattlesnakes in the wild, so. And the crazy thing about Arizona, I think I saw it on the list of the state with the most venomous creatures. Which I get, you know. We're out here in the desert. It's all about survival. Roll on through here. And we've got some sand. Power on through this, fishtailing all over the place. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead and cruise on through this moonlight trail. A little more mellow, more enjoyable than that rocky stuff we were riding around on back there. I don't know if you can see this kind of trail. It's the same kind of trail that snake was making. So anyways, it looks like these things might be out in force this morning. All right, so we got some rockier stuff here. This bike does have a front fork suspension, which is a little bit loud. You can hear it kind of banging around. There's no kind of a rebound adjustment on it, but it does have a preload and lockout. We've also got suspension seat post, which is nice and comfortable coming on through here. All right, steep section, and we made it right through. So that's one of the nice things is having enough power to make it up steeper inclines like that. So right there, I was in the wrong gear. Should have thought about that ahead of time. Good news is we got this nice torque sensor and a beefy motor on here, so we were able to power on through. And we got some chop up ahead. Definitely feel that suspension going to work here. Good thing I aired down those tires. And we got some bigger gravel and rocks. And right up and over. And once again, we've got some more gravel that we're gonna have to power on through here. I've got us in Sport Plus, Gear 4. You can definitely feel that motor going to work. Oh. And we made it. That's fun, I think. This front fork suspension is definitely putting some work in today, that's for sure. You know, I think this bike is great for like hard packed trails, but if you do find yourself in some weird situations like this, you should be able to make it through. Oh my goodness, look at this up ahead, huh? Let's see if we can make it through this. Come on, Sport Plus. Oh, we might need a turbo for this. Should probably stand up. And we made it. Oh goodness. So turbo would have helped us out a bit more. And here we go. Another one. Watch out for these rocks. Okay. And we made it. Oh. All right. I don't want the gold mine trail. Oh. All right, folks, I'm not gonna lie. I am winded. That was a solid workout, but this little folding electric bike brought us through. Still got more trail riding to do, but I need to adjust my seat. And another little exciting adventure here. These hydraulic disc brakes are definitely coming to good use here. 180 millimeter rotors in the front and back allows us to nicely control our descent. Oh, look at this garbage. All right, suspension, here we go. I think it's smoother over here. It's probably what the snake said too. All right, up and over this. A little more chop, as Jonah Hill's character said in The Wolf of Wall Street when they were on the boat. And coming through here, we'll just let gravity do the work. I'll take a little breather. You know, I've tested multiple bikes out here, and I've always come during the winter months. And so it's actually quite pleasant this morning. I think when I first got out, it was like high 60s, low 70s, just crazy. It's been nice and cool lately here in the Phoenix metro area. Lots of folks out on mountain bikes today. Probably look funny out here on my Lectric XP4 folding bike. But that's okay. We know that this bike can tackle anything it puts its heart to. Got more sand here. Oh, a little fishtailing. I will say that it is nice to have a torque sensor on this bike for this kind of riding, especially through some of those steeper sections we went through today. I did come through here on my XP3.0 on a pretty epic trail ride, and that has a cadence sensor. I did a great job as well. The problem is when you're navigating like particularly tight areas, you know, sometimes that bike would rocket forward, you know. That's just the way that the cadence sensors work. They just pick up that speed with a torque sensor. It's a pressure-based system, so the more pressure you apply to the pedals, the more output you're going to get from the motor. And it's that kind of fine control that you want in these kind of riding conditions. This trail like weaves in between all these saguaro cacti out here. I guess we'll turn onto this trail here, why not? And we got thick sand, folks. Powering on through this. All right, come up through here. All right, well, I'm at a complete stop right now. Let's see if turbo mode and this torque sensor can get us up this incline. Oh, yeah, there's that turbo mode I've been looking for all day. 1310 peak watts of power, 85 Newton meters of torque. At least that's what I think it is. Anyways, going up a hill from a standstill, plenty of power. I'm gonna drop it back into Sport Plus. Once again, more larger gravel to ride through. Okay, we got a little more challenging terrain here. Power on through this. Oh, turbo mode is not active. Now it is. As you can see, we've gained a little bit of altitude. You can see a good chunk of the valley out there. Apache Junction, all that area. Anyways, we'll start heading back to our starting point and we'll wrap this up. right, folks, home stretch. Now, it's this kind of trail that this bike really excels in. Hard packed dirt with some light gravel. It's only when you get into that kind of choppy stuff that you test the limits of this bike's capabilities. On your left. All right, folks, that was our trail ride for today. Let me know what you think. You know, definitely we're able to test out the limits of this XP4 today. Overall, I think it did pretty well given the riding conditions. But anyways, if you want to catch any of the other content that I've made, including my range test and pedal assist, throttle only range test, endurance, hill climb, all that fun stuff, I will include a link to all that in the description below. If you do want to pick up one of these bikes, I will include an affiliate link in the description as well. And if you use that to make your purchase, that absolutely helps support this channel and keeps the wheels moving on future reviews. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns. Happy to address those. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.